Take a moment, if you will, to think back to what you were doing 20 years ago, January 2004. What was your job? Were you still in school? Were you married? 20 years ago this month, there was a marriage of sorts when the Greater Lexington Chamber of Commerce and Lexington United, Lexington's Economic Development Group, and the Business and Education Network merged to become what we now know as Commerce Lexington. That's right, it's our 20th wedding anniversary. I think it's absolutely undeniable that the merger has been an unqualified success and that we have learned that working together, as we've heard many times this evening, we're better. I would also venture that two of our major initiatives would not even be possible without the merger. The first is the creation of the Central Kentucky Public Policy Group. Regional business, government, education, and community leaders began to travel to Washington, D.C. each year to present a united legislative agenda to our congressional delegation. Think funding for critical infrastructure like the Newtown Pike extension and improvements to the Bluegrass Airport. The group prioritizes items that benefit the entire region and have greater levels of success when we present a unified front. It also helps our congressional representatives help us. Second, the Regional Competitiveness Plan has supercharged our economic development efforts. While it isn't widely known, the economic development professionals from each community have actually been working together for decades. They first started marketing the region to companies and site location consultants back in the 1990s, but quietly. In fact, many of them did not even tell their boards that they were working together. Why? Because they were afraid that their boards, their bosses, would misunderstand their efforts as a zero-sum game. If they win, then we must lose, right? Despite that risk, they continued to work together because they knew it'd help each of their communities individually, and it's paid off. Think More Than a Bakery in Woodford County. Think Neogen's expansion in Montgomery County. Think Webasto locating here in Lexington, and many, many, many more. Today, the plan is quite public and has big goals to increase jobs, wages, and our labor force to at least the national average over the next 4 years. To achieve this, regional leaders agreed on 3 broad action items. First, supercharge our marketing efforts to recruit new businesses to the region. 2, advocate for state funding for product development. Think shovel-ready sites and buildings for job-creating businesses. 3, develop a first-ever marketing effort to attract talent to our region. Research has shown that the greater Lexington area is actually largely unknown outside of the state of Kentucky. This presents a great opportunity to tell our story and create an original impression to people of just how special this area is. Later this year, you'll see some of this marketing and messaging that will look something like this.
In the heart of Kentucky lies a rising 9-county bluegrass region, rooted and refined. A career training ground where innovation drives business growth and manufacturing hums. A place with world-class education, healthcare, and global industry. A united region bustling with opportunity, resources, and an undeniable feeling. A feeling of home. A place where neighbors are neighbors. A place where you can breathe better and a dollar goes farther. Where a collective spirit paves the way for a brighter future. Greater Lexington, Kentucky's bluegrass region.
There is no doubt that our region's economic success depends on our continued collaboration. And I'd like to thank again all the mayors and the county judge executives in attendance tonight who are participating in this vital effort. Can we give them one more round of applause? One of the most valuable things that Commerce Lexington does each year is lead a delegation to visit and study another city. Part of what makes these trips so amazing and quite possibly unique among chambers around the country is the wide collection of people and organizations that participate. Business leaders, of course, but government leaders, civic leaders, and many, many not-for-profits. And we all go because the trip focuses on how to make positive changes to our community. This year, we'll travel to Salt Lake City, Utah in early June with a primary focus on learning about their ecosystem that helps commercialize intellectual property generated at the University of Utah. So as some baseline, the University of Kentucky's research enterprise conducted $480 million in research this last fiscal year, with most of that money coming in from outside of the state of Kentucky. That's like having a company with a payroll of $500 million supporting over 4,600 jobs right here in the heart of Lexington. Now, how can we leverage that brain power and intellectual property to create even more companies and more jobs for our region? We'll examine what Salt Lake City is doing well, and as always, that process will help us learn about ourselves too. I hope you'll consider joining us. Finally, I am extremely pleased to announce the chair of the board for 2025. None other than my really good friend, Carla Blanton. Yes. Carla hardly needs any introduction because she's been so involved in the community and particularly in Commerce Lexington for a long time. In fact, she served as the board chair back in 2017. So as repeating, she will join just a handful of other individuals over the many, many decades of this organization to serve more than once. But she will be the very first woman to do so. Carla, I know you'll be great. Thank you for picking up the mantle. Sure. Finally, thank you so much for allowing me to work with an amazing board of directors as we support Bob Quick and his team, who are the absolute best in the business. I'll turn it back over to Bob. Thank you for being here and enjoy your evening.